mind? What visual comes to mind? I'd like to know that because that's the question of the day. And I'm really excited to share with you an answer, a really interesting answer that I got from somebody earlier this week. And I want to bring this to you because I think that this is what's happening largely behind the stream, behind the scenes in a lot of our minds. But I want to check right now. Okay, I'm just making sure that my tech was working because I came in here a little bit differently. If you haven't noticed, and you might not have, I stream to 3 different sites. I'm streaming to LinkedIn and to YouTube and to Facebook all at the same time. There's a tech challenge here. I want to make sure it's working. It seems to be. So tell me in the comments what you think of when you think about marketing. What visual comes to mind? Because when I was talking to this person this past week, she said that the thing that's like in the back of her mind when it comes to marketing is a vacuum cleaner salesman selling to someone who does not want a new vacuum cleaner. And I was like, oh, there's so much in there that I want to just dissect and pull apart. We could totally unpack that. And that's what I want to do with you today. And the first thing I want to start with is if it's not a vacuum cleaner salesman, maybe it is a used car salesman. Or as somebody said to me yesterday, a cold call about insurance that I don't want or don't need, or certainly don't think I need, right? So the key points here are, selling a particular thing to someone who does not want that particular thing. Does that come to mind for you? And if not, I'd love to know that as well. But tell me in the comments what the image is that comes to mind for you when you think about marketing your business. And the way I want to unpack that. So the key component in what I've just described is selling something to people who don't want it, right? That's like, oh my gosh, what if they don't want it? And one of the things I hear some of my audience, so I work with introverted business owners and people like them who struggle to market themselves due to things like fear or discomfort or visions of this, or maybe this belief system that the people that they're talking to don't want to hear from them. And the thing I really, truly want to unpack here is the idea of selling to someone who does not want or need what you have to offer, because you have control over that, even if it doesn't feel like you do at this point. And what I want to share with you today are 3 things that you can do to make sure that you're selling to people who actually want and need what you have to offer. That's truly the thing that we want to unpack out of that, right? Selling a vacuum cleaner to somebody who doesn't need a new vacuum cleaner is a really heavy lift. It is you're pushing a boulder up the hill at that point. And that's not just uncomfortable, but brings with it things like vulnerability and shame, right? This discomfort that you're talking to somebody about something that does not want or need what you have to offer. And so when my audience says, oh, but maybe the people I'm talking to don't want to hear about what I have to offer, that can feel like I'm going to use the word victim. It can feel like you're in a victim position where you don't have control over it. It's just, your role there, instead of maybe a victor position where you're talking to people that you already know want and need what you have to offer. And that's the situation I want you to be in, is making sure you're talking to people who want and need what you have to offer. We want you to be the victor in that situation. We want you to be the guide for the people who need what you can help them with. And so the 3 things that you can do to make sure that you're talking to people who are interested in what you have to offer is, first and foremost, be clear about who you sell to. So you've probably heard this. If you've been in marketing or marketing your business for any length of time, you've probably heard somebody ask you who your ideal client is or who your avatar is. The thing is I've noticed that when I ask this question and when I see it being asked in other spaces, the business owner tends to push back. And that pushing back sounds like a couple different things. One is, and I think it's just because it can be really hard to identify who you serve. It can be really hard. I've struggled with this myself. And one of the reasons is because we don't want to leave somebody out, right? I help this person. Oh, but this person could use this as well. And what about this person? So I want to sell to everybody. But let's take that back to the vacuum cleaner person selling to somebody who doesn't need it or want it. We don't want to be that person. So in order to not be somebody trying to sell to somebody who doesn't need what we have to offer, we need to be clear about who does need it and who does want it. And we are leaving people out. We're leaving out people who are not the right fit, who won't get the benefit, who might even resent our selling. We don't need to talk to them, but just because they exist doesn't mean that the people who need what we have to offer doesn't exist. They do. We just need to find them. But in order to find them, we have to answer that first question. Who are they? So when you're thinking about your ideal client, your avatar, that person that you want to sell to who is not just interested, but welcoming what you have to offer and needing it, maybe desperately, you need to be clear about who they are so that you can recognize them, so that you can create content that they understand. You've heard this probably. If you try to talk to everyone, you're talking to no one because your message gets lost in the flurry because specifically every single listener is asking, is this for me? And so it's important that you know who it's for so that when you're talking to that person, they know that it's for them. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to make sure that you're not selling to people who don't need what you have to offer, which is a waste of your time, a waste of their time, and makes things all sorts of uncomfortable, your first thing you need to do is understand who you're selling to. Who is that avatar? Don't push back, lean into this question. Who are you selling to? Who do you need to sell to? Who needs what you have to offer? Make sure that you're answering that question so that you can be very clear about who it is and speak to them and help them feel that they know for sure that what you're talking about is for them. So that's the first thing you can do. I want to go back to the beginning for a second. For those of you who are watching live, the question of the day is, when you think of marketing, what comes to mind? And what I'm operating with today is this vision of being a vacuum cleaner salesman selling to somebody who does not need a new vacuum cleaner. We don't want to be that person, right? So tell me in the comments, when you think of marketing, what visual comes to mind for you? But then the first thing I said was that we want to make sure that we're clear on what it is that we have to offer or who we're selling to. Who is that person that we're selling to so that we're clear? Am I talking to somebody who needs to hear what I've got to say? And when we can be clear on that, one of the things it gives us, before I roll to the next one of the things it gives us is a sense of confidence, a sense of, yes, this person that I'm talking to does want to hear what I've got to say, and I feel open to talk about it and to engage with them around this particular thing because I know that the person I'm talking to needs what I have to offer. I've clarified that. I've checked that box off so that I can feel more comfortable talking about what I have to offer and how I can help them. So the first thing is getting clear on who it is that you serve. The second thing that you can do to make sure that you're not selling to people who don't want what you have to offer is create a connection with your audience. And that is about letting them get to know you. And there are very specific ways that you can do that, but it is about helping them feel comfortable. Here's what building a connection does. It creates a sense of what's known as know, like, trust, helping them get to know you, like you, and trust you. And actually let's try that again. They get to know you, who you are, what you have to offer. They get to like your messaging. They get to feel comfortable with you. And through that, that's what like really means. And through that, they learn to trust you. And now they're going to be open to what you have to offer. So what do you do to build a connection with your audience? One of the things that you can do is lean into being authentic, being your genuine self. Don't be who you think you need to be, especially if you are an introvert or an ambivert. We talked about that last week. An ambivert is halfway between an introvert or an extrovert. Ambiverts are often refer to themselves as an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert. That means you're an ambivert. You're right in the middle. Or you might lean one way or the other a little bit, but you're someplace in the middle. You don't identify as an introvert or an extrovert. You're somewhere in the middle. You've got a little bit of both. And that's great. Those are also people I help. Let me back up. I talked just a few minutes ago about this concern about leaving out people who don't need what we have to offer. I help introverts and ambiverts. And it's easy for me to say I help introverts because people don't know what ambivert is. And when I do that, I feel like I'm leaving out people who could use what I have to offer. but I have to be okay with that. People need, that I, at least right now, if it's the introverts that really get the most help from what I offer, I need to just focus there. And if there's an ambivert who resonates with my message, they'll come on in, and I have ambiverts in my membership. So when I know that I serve introverts, I can be really specific about what it is I help them with, what the outcome is that I help them find. An extrovert is going to be like, I don't even have that problem, let alone need that solution. I'm good. But an ambivert who really is very introverted in nature might and has resonated with my messaging. So knowing who I serve has really helped me serve who I serve and other people for whom that resonates. It answers the question, is this for me? The introverts that struggle, not every introvert struggles with their marketing, but the introverts who struggle with their marketing will resonate with my messaging, and so will the ambiverts. So I wanted to back up into that example a little bit, and this is about not worrying about who I leave out, worrying instead that the people I do serve hear me and that my message resonates with them. I want to keep my eye on that ball. So when I'm being authentic and talking about who I help, I'm even telling you right here that I just kind of gave you an example, telling you a little bit about the behind the scenes, about what I'm dealing with, who I serve, and how I struggle a little bit with, well, I do help ambiverts. I have them in my audience. I can tend to feel them left out. That's me being authentic with you about what's going on behind the scenes and maybe some little struggles that I experience that might resonate with you. Let me know in the comments if that resonates with you, me telling you a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes. And this is me sharing a little bit about me and about what's going on in my world a little bit, and even how, some problems that I struggle with that you might also. That is all of that I just talked about, right? Telling you a little bit about behind the scenes, telling you about my problems, maybe telling you about me and my perspective on things. These are things that connect. These are things that generate a sense of trust, give you a little bit more of a 3D perspective of who I am. Here's another one about me being authentic. I'm in a really casual top. I thought today about dressing up for this video. I never dress up for these videos because this is who I am, and this is how I am when I serve my clients, when I'm in my membership, when I run my courses. I'm often dressed something a little bit more casually because this is who I am. Honestly, it's because I want to be approachable, but it's also because I want to be comfortable, so I show up as myself. And that's a little bit more about who I am. And here's what I'm getting to. When you're telling your audience something about you, you do not have to tell them everything. This is not a game of 10 things you didn't know about me. This is a game. It's not a game. It's bringing in little pieces of yourself so that they see you as a real person with real experiences who might understand them a little bit better than others. And so you're gaining that trust. So creating a connection with your audience is about being authentic, helping them see how you are like them, and giving them a little bit more of that 3D perspective. So what we're talking about, to just kind of reset the room for a second, is we're talking about how we envision marketing and who we don't want to be. We started out with the vacuum cleaner salesman selling to somebody who doesn't need a vacuum cleaner. We don't want to be that person. So how do you not be that person? We talked about being clear about who you sell to. And I'm talking now about creating a connection with your audience so that they feel the trust. You're basically creating a sense of helping them know you, like you, and trust you so that you can have a deeper conversation with them. The third thing that I want to share with you, the idea that I want to share with you here, is that when it comes to serving people who need what you have to offer, lean into the practice of inbound marketing. So inbound marketing is helping your audience find you. And when you are blogging, when you are doing social media, when you are creating an email list and emailing your audience, you are doing different tactics that fit into inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is about putting a message out there into the world and having people hear it and follow it back to you. So when I talk with my audience, with my clients, about putting social media out there, putting social media content out there, or blogging, they're still hesitant to talk about their business. And the thing is these are the opportunities to talk about your business, because when you put it out there and you talk about your business, people for whom that's useful and helpful will follow it back to you. Inbound marketing. So posting on social media is part of inbound marketing. Email marketing is part of it. Blogging or doing videos where people can find you and talking about what you serve and talking about your specialty, right? This video right here is an example of inbound marketing where I'm talking about, the challenges that my audience experiences and supplying a few answers with the hopes of guiding you to your next step. So I hope this has been helpful. This has been about creating genuine connections. This has been about making sure you know who you're serving. And this is about using marketing in a strategic way in order to connect with your audience and help them find you. It's not about, in fact, that's, I think, key is, where the question is out there often. I hear it, where do I find the people that I can help? The answer is help them find you. Help them find you by blogging. Help them find you by doing social media. Help them find you by building a list of people who need and connect with what you have to offer. Those are the things that will help you not be somebody selling to somebody who doesn't need what you have to offer, but in fact, selling presenting an offer out in the world of what you have to sell to people who already know what it is and need and want what you have to offer. Let me know if this has been helpful. I'd love to know if you want more content like this. And again, definitely answer the question in the comments when you think about marketing, what comes to mind. I'd love to know if you found this helpful and if that idea of me working with introverts and ambiverts resonates with you. I actually invite you to grab this ebook it's the Tactical Guide to Digital Marketing, specifically for introverts and ambiverts who lean towards the introverted side. But you might find this helpful. It's filled with 5 inbound marketing tactics that will serve you and help your audience find you. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you again next Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, have a fantastic week. I'll see you again soon.